Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ask an Atheist. My guest for this evening is none other than the Sacrificial Lamb, aka Wade Wilson. Wade, how you doing tonight?
Oh, what's up?
So I gotta ask, how did you go from Wade Wilson, or how did you first start with Wade Wilson, and then go into the Sacrificial Lamb?
Well, Wade Wilson was like just a name that I have for myself, like Sacrificial Lamb. I didn't really want my face out there at the time, and I love Deadpool, so I just took Wade Wilson as a code name or whatever you want to call it, username, and try to go that direction. But Sacrificial Lamb, I was always obsessed with the Sacrificial Lamb, and so I made this puppet, for that reason, and have the shirt and trying to make a mask at the moment. I've been busy, but I've been trying to make that mask. You know, it's more difficult than I thought it would be. So
Right. Well,
but
it's cool to finally meet you because you've been in my comment section for like 3 years now, commenting,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we've never gotten to meet. So it's awesome to
yeah.
finally meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
So here's my first question. Why the hell are you an atheist?
uh, because I started questioning the Bible, and mainly that it just things I didn't know as a Christian, and then learning new stuff, and then it just chipped away after knowing more things about the Bible.
Okay. So
Yeah.
did you have a religious upbringing?
Yes.
How heavy was it?
Pretty heavy. Uh, at a young age, going to church every Sunday, obviously, but like I have a home video that I watch and Caitlin watches as well, and there's a video of a birthday party thrown in the video, and there's cake and candles and everything, and singing happy birthday, and finally it's revealed that it's Jesus's birthday that we're celebrating. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so Caitlin was like, Caitlin Beyond, by the way, uh, a name drop. So she was watching it and she goes, whose birthday is it? Is that yours or your brother's? And then like, happy birthday, Jesus. And she was like, are you serious right now?
Oh my God.
And I was like, yeah, yeah.
That's an
So
eye roll right there.
yeah, but VBS and whatnot every Sunday, basically until I got old enough to like in my, I guess, early 20s, where I was like, I don't want to go to church anymore. I'm too tired. I got to work, whatnot, late shifts, graveyard shifts. I don't have energy or time.
Mhm.
I don't want to sleep in church. It's disrespectful, just I don't want to go and don't want to be disrespectful. So they kind
Right.
of did that for a while, allowing me to not go until they knew I was an atheist when I turned into an atheist. And then they were like, well, then uh, we're taking you to church by force. And I was like, you're not going to like that. I was like, because on the way there and on the way back, what the pastor talks about, I'm just gonna ask you guys questions front and back. All the ride there and ride back, you're not gonna like the ride with me. So, and then they stopped taking me to church after a while, and I was like, told you, you're not gonna like it. So,
So did they eventually just give up? Is that what you're saying?
essentially, yeah. They gave up after a while, and then they wanted me to, because I was still living with them at the time, like late 20s or whatever,
Oh,
So,
that's gotta be rough.
yeah, so they wanted after like they gave up and learning that I'm annoying of talking about the Bible. They're like, you got to go. So yeah.
Wait, when you say you gotta go, do you
Well,
mean
they,
they
they
kicked
pretty
you
much
out?
kicked me out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because
Come
pretty much like they don't want to hear me talk about the Bible all the time, and I'm getting too old to live in their house, so I'm like, fuck. So I gotta go. Yeah.
Dude, that's rough, man. I'm glad my family was religious, but they weren't that extreme where they would have ever kicked me out.
Yeah.
Well, I should take that back. My mom threatened to kick me out because I refused to work at her restaurant on the day of my high school graduation. So I called my grandma
That's
and I
petty.
was like, "Yeah, come live with me."
Yeah. That's petty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, how did you deconstruct your beliefs?
Uh, AXP helped a lot because can I say that I was doing a substance on this live?
You can
Oh,
say whatever you want. You can swear.
okay. Okay.
Now, if
I
you
didn't know that.
swear, it'll get less views, but I
Okay.
don't care if you swear.
Yeah. I'll try not to for the views, but like it's just normal for me. Uh, but I'll try to be on my good behavior.
I don't
Um,
care. Either way, it's fine by
okay.
me.
So I was smoking weed, and I was like doing that quite
That's
often.
always a good start to a
Yeah.
story.
So just smoking weed and just watching YouTube videos as I normally do, and AXP just happened to come across my recommendations or whatever, and I was curious because I never watched an atheist show before, and so I started watching it, and it sparked my interest, and it got me questioning things, and then I just kept watching more and more and more, and at some point, and I think it was right before I even watched it, my last prayer that I like legit prayer or whatever was because I have another prayer that my last prayer is like a song that I give out or a rap that I
Okay.
listen to, but like my last legit prayer that I remember saying before watching the show was, uh, "Protect me from what I'm about to watch. If it's wrong or whatever, it's wrong. Like there's nothing I should be afraid of if it's not true, you know.
Right.
So protect me from what I'm about to watch." And as I kept watching, I was like, "This is making sense." So I was like, and I kept watching it, and the more that they talked about, the more it made sense. The more it just did. Christianity didn't make sense anymore, you know. And I learned so much. And uh, there's a thing that I do now that I always say that uh, that that what I saw and learned and whatnot is what became who I am today and what I my hobby is today. And like my the question is that what I've heard and motto or not motto, but what I've heard and what I ask, like the first question necessarily is like when I challenge Christians, uh, is this question just a beginner elementary question, and it's like because I never knew this and I never thought about it, and the question is, uh, what number comes to mind when you think about the animals that are on Noah's Ark? And a lot of people can't even answer what number comes to mind. And at some point, I have to help them, and I go like two of every animal, and they're like, "Oh yeah, two of every animal," and I go, "Okay, what other number comes to mind of Noah's Ark of every animal, male and female?" And they're like, "I only know two," and I go, "Why aren't you thinking about the number seven?" And they're like, "There's a number seven?" I go, "Yeah, there's two of every animal, male and female, of unclean, but there's seven of every clean animal, male and female. Why didn't you think of that?" And they're
Wait,
like,
what's that mean? Because I've never heard that before. So this
"See,
is a new
even
argument
you
to me.
don't even know, right?" So, but yes, like I think there's the clean animals, if I'm correct, are supposed to be sacrificed. And so he's supposed to hold on to them to sacrifice the clean animals. You can't sacrifice unclean animals, right?
Okay.
But they make this known in the Bible, right? So and so most people, when I tell them this, go, "I didn't know that that was a thing. Like I didn't know that there was seven of every animal." And I go, "Yeah, me neither." So when I heard this, like known this question or however I got to it, it it inspired me to ask everybody else this question. And it's like, if I didn't know this, how many more other people don't know about this?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Right. And so I was like, why is, and it's not hard. It's not like some trivial thing like, what did David do? Blah, 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 blah. This is, everybody knows this story. And
Right.
it's not that hard for pastors to continue this story, but they only tell you a part of it. And it's not like they need to hide it. They just don't tell it. And I don't understand
Right.
why. And so I'm like, what else don't I know? And from this becomes my motto that I give out when I talk to Christians. Usually when I talk to Christians, they don't know I'm an atheist. I pretend to be a Christian, and hence also the name Sacrificial Lamb. But I go to Christians, and one of my mottos is, I might know something that you don't know, and you might know something I don't know, and
Of
together we
course.
can learn about the Bible. And this is how we can like have a conversation and learn together. So,
Okay, cool. Yeah,
mhm.
I learned something new. I had no
Mhm.
idea of that. So thank you for that information.
Yeah, and
Uh,
there's so many things that I ask Christians about that they don't know, but this is elementary. This is something small. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
I got a first question from the
Mhm.
audience.
Yes.
It's kind of an annoying one, but anyway, if atheism is here, I'm going to put it on the screen
Yeah, I didn't even see
just
it.
so you
Yeah.
can read it in case. If atheism is true, why does the burden of proof always fall on the theist? Shouldn't the claim be there is no God require justification too?
Yeah, you want to
I
answer this
know how
one?
I'd answer it, but do you want me to answer it or are you going to answer it?
Uh, I'll answer it. I don't, unless you want to, but like I'm ready.
If you're ready, let's do
Oh,
it. Go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. So from how I would answer this is like the burden of proof is based on the claim, right? Uh, and if you're an agnostic atheist, uh, is meaning you don't know, right? But if you're a Gnostic atheist, and you would most likely, I would assume that you would make the claim that there is no God.
Right.
Agnostic atheist, like you don't know if there's a God, but it's not that you say I believe that there is no God. It's rather that I don't believe, or lack a belief, or what I like to say best is I'm not convinced that there is a God.
I
So
like
there's
that
not,
too.
yeah, and so that there's not really a claim being made other than I'm just not convinced. Doesn't mean that there is no God. Like I can't demonstrate that there isn't, but the belief that I have is lacking, or that I just not convinced that there is one. So I don't have a claim other than I not convinced.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
So,
answer.
but the theist that claims to say that I do believe in God or that there is a God, there's the claim. And so when there's a claim, you need evidence to support it and back it up and whatnot. There's the burden.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then a follow-up question.
Hmm.
Um, where'd it go? As an atheist or agnostic, what do you think of Islam? Now, I
Uh,
want to clarify this. It drives me nuts when atheists will rip apart Christianity and then say, "Oh, you can't say anything about Islam. It's Islamophobic." Like that drives me up a wall. I'm sorry. I can criticize Islam as equally as I can criticize Christianity. So,
Correct.
don't, in my opinion, don't hesitate. Say what you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like I I believe that the way that I see Christianity is the same way I see Islam and whatnot, and I use Islam as an example in some of the conversations I have with Christians when they do know that I'm an atheist. And there's a conversation I like to talk about, and if we have time or whatever, but like stop me if
Talk away.
you don't. Okay, so I used to have a friend, a Christian friend that I used to talk to outside this Christian group, and Caitlin would always call him my boyfriend. And then when we stopped talking, she would say that, "Oh, did y'all break up?"
That
Uh,
sounds
uh,
like Caitlin.
so I would have like these states that she would refer to when I would go out and talk to him and whatnot. And concerning Islam, because there's multiple conversations I had with him, but in this topic, uh, I use Islam as an example or whatever. And he starts asking me the question analogy, and he goes, uh, "You're an atheist, blah blah blah. Like, would you believe? Would you be a Christian and believe if someone broke their foot and a Christian prayed over it and it got healed? Would you believe then?" I go, "No."
No.
He goes, "What about 10? If 10 people prayed over it, would you believe then?" I go, "No."
Nope.
And he goes, "Why? Why not?" And I go, "Okay, what I'm about to do, I'm going to put all my cards on the table so you know exactly what I'm going to do before I do it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say the exact same thing except for one little piece of it, and I'm going to switch out one thing with another. So what I'm going to do, instead of Christianity, I'm going to use Islam. Or it could be any other religion that isn't yours. So I'm just going to use Islam for example, because it's easier to understand other than any other religion that you don't believe in, but you're familiar with Islam. I go, if a person broke their foot and a Muslim person prayed over it, would you believe and become Muslim then? And he goes, no. I go, what about 10 Muslims pray over it and it got healed? Would you be Muslim then? He goes, no. I go, then you understand where I'm coming from when I say I won't believe. It's not that hard of a concept.
That's a good
So,
analogy.
yeah. And so usually when people give me analogies, I use their analogies to my advantage. And so in this concept, I just mirror it and just replace one little thing that with their own thing and with someone else's, and I believe it helps them understand it better, not necessarily agree with me, but they can't, it's not, I don't think that they can not understand. It's
Right.
like they have to understand at that point, so yeah.
Okay, cool. So, oh my God, ADHD brain went out the window. Give me a second to find the squirrel that just went running past. Wow, my brain just went dead. It's totally dead right now.
Are you sure you're not the squirrel?
I'm probably the squirrel. So, how comfortable are you with discussing whether it be Islam or Christianity or Judaism on a daily basis, even if it's with work people or family?
I get in trouble sometimes when I talk to coworkers about religion and whatnot, because I love talking about religion. Just people don't like me talking to them so much. But sometimes every now and then someone will come to me and ask me a question, and I just like get super excited. Family, I used to, and then they just think I keep talking to them on a hamster wheel, but like I still enjoy it until like they get frustrated, they get mad, and they're like, I don't want to talk about it no more. But there's something about me that I like to say, that a quote that I use and Caitlin uses for me or about me as well, is that I like one of us is going to get tired of talking, and it's not going to be me. And so religion being one of those things, let alone anything, I'll go forever. I'll talk forever about anything, especially religion. So, and it doesn't matter who and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't care.
So, there's this person, I don't know how they identify in the comments, but they're kind of driving me nuts, so I want to bring it up.
I think it froze. I don't know if any. Okay, there you go. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you, but I think you're glitching. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. So there's this person in the comments driving me a little nuts, and I genuinely try to always focus on the conversation we're having. However, they keep rapid firing some comments. So facts said theism can be proven. What is your opinion on that?
Theism can be proven. Can be proven.
Yes. can. That's what they said.
Okay, then prove it. I don't know. If you're making the claim already, so you have the burden. Do it. Right?
Good
So
answer.
but yeah, man, so like it doesn't matter who I talk to. Like I used to and I want to do it again. I just busy or doing something else or whatever, or I need to find a new church or whatever. But like I used to go to church and talk to the pastors. They would be my target people who I would go
Really?
to. Yeah.
The pastors?
Yes. The pastors don't know much more than the congregation themselves, but I like to talk to the congregation and just have like small talk about the Bible, whatever. But I would go to necessarily the pastor and see what his opinions are and what he thinks of the things that, because I would go to church, right? The scenery or whatever of what I do is I go to church. I don't do all the worshiping and praying thing and whatnot. I sit by myself and uh, and don't mess with anybody else while everyone does everything.
Right.
Of course, that brings attention to me that I don't do what they do, but I'm not there for that. What I do tell them though, of what I'm there for is that uh, I'm trying to study the Bible. And I think the best place to study the Bible is to go to the environment of where I need to study. So if I'm at home, I'm going to be
Wow.
distracted and whatnot. I'm going to be doing anything else but not studying the Bible. So I go there and I study the Bible. And I do apologize. I'm sorry that I'm not participating or whatever, but like I'm trying to actually study, you know, and in such a way, in a devious way, but still honest, that it kind of makes them look bad that they're not really studying it themselves. Of course, they'll study it what the pastor wants to study, but I'm literally studying like front to back, you know, or
Right.
necessarily I started with Revelations and then I jumped to Genesis and then went forward.
How
But
do you get through it, man? It's so boring.
okay, it is boring, and I know this, but I powered through it, not through the physical book. I got to like Joshua or something and studying or whatever, but I've read through my cell phone all the way through it and study it hard and whatnot, screenshots all over the place. But uh, but when someone says that the Bible is boring and it's difficult to read, yes, it is. However, I read it, and when I find something that makes me question or think of something, I call them like little golden nuggets or something. And
Mhm.
so like like at some point I'll like once a day or once every time I go to church and study my Bible, there's at least one question that I have, and I get excited about it. And then I go run to the pastor and I ask him that question, right? And normally respect him, and I respect him for him when he says he doesn't know the answer, and that's cool. But
Absolutely.
yeah, however, I don't like it when I go to him and he automatically goes, "I don't know the answer." I go, "You just hear me out. Just let me ask the question. I want to know what you think.
Right.
Sure that you don't know the answer, but like try, you know." And so, and then after a while, he'll give his best explanation. I'm like, okay, and blah, blah, and try to have that conversation with him, you know. So, but yeah, there is golden nuggets if you try hard enough to find them, you know. And so, for the example that I give is one of my favorite memories that I have going to the pastor, and he says he doesn't know the answer, but like I'm the purpose is to get them to think, right? They don't
Right.
normally think, so this is the process of doing it. So I'm reading the Bible and I come across Moses and the golden calf and them sacrificing it and whatnot, and he crushes it and he makes the people drink it, right? And I asked the pastor, I go, okay, so I learned something in a different perspective. I knew the story, but there's something that I read differently or saw something different that didn't really catch my eye the first time. And it was like, what I know is Moses crushed the golden calf and made the people drink it. And at this moment, the pastor goes, "What? You made the his people drink the golden calf?" I go, "Yeah." you didn't know that, like that, but that's not my point though. Like it just, I already expected him to know this, but he didn't. So I was like, already like, you should know this. I put you on a higher standard to actually know the Bible. And this is
Right.
crazy, like elementary stuff that you don't know, but whatever. I try to surpass it. And I go, okay, so my point is, so the thing that I learned is that how they drank it, right? Because the first time in one book rather than the other book, the story has it they crushes it and he makes the people drink it. In my head, I kind of see it as like he just put it in a cup and he put water in and he kind of makes it kind of like Kool-Aid. He made the people drink it or out of bowls or whatever, right? It doesn't tell you how they drank it, right? They just he made them drink it. But in a different passage, and they retell the story, he puts it in the river and makes them drink it. And so I just like that little tweak, that little thing that changes the perspective of how I actually understood how he made them drink it. And I go, so like I didn't know this, and I based off of the fact that you didn't even know you made them drink it, but like now you know that how he made them drink it. And so
Right.
as I'm doing these little things, I'm teaching, let alone the pastor or the congregation rather, whatever, something new. And my goal when I go to church isn't to deconvert them, it's to get them to start thinking of their
Right.
own Bible.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah,
we want to do.
yeah, yeah. And so that's what I do. I just want them to think, not and so yeah, that's why I like going to church and just talking to them. And the purpose of pretending to be a Christian, I mean, yeah, pretending to be a Christian rather than tell them I'm an atheist when I go to church, is that I know that as soon as I tell them I'm an atheist, they don't care about one shit little thing that I have to say. So,
Right.
and they put up walls. But if I
Yep.
Trojan horse that shit and pretend to be, then at least I have a foot in the door for at least a conversation for them to, they think it's honest. And Caitlin thinks that it's dishonest that I'm doing it. But I go, but for me, this is my hobby and I have to talk to somebody and I need to talk to Christians and this is how I have to do it. Otherwise, I have no chance or I have very little chance of doing it. So I have to make my chances higher by lying on that one little thing. Everything else is what I believe that the Bible, how I interpret the Bible and whatnot. Not necessarily that I believe the Bible to be true, but this is how I read, interpret the Bible, and want to talk about it.
So I could see why she said it's dishonest.
Yeah,
Um,
so do I. But this is what I have to do.
yeah, I mean, if that's what you
Mhm.
want to do and you think it works, whatever's going to further the fight
Yeah.
and create more atheists, I'm for it. I don't want to pay any more attention to this person,
Oh,
except
perfect.
I'm going to say one last thing from
Oh,
uh,
okay.
facts. Uh, they said at Ways to Human, disprove all miracles ever recorded. The burden is on the atheist. I know. I laughed too, but I
This
want
guy.
your opinion on this.
Um, Again, with the burden of proof, like you can claim that it's a miracle, and then but you would have to prove that it's a miracle. And if you just say that it's a miracle by what means, I guess because it's rare or no one can explain it, then if you go with the unexplained part, then you're explaining the unexplained, which makes no sense. So, uh, and if it's rare, that doesn't mean it's necessarily a miracle. It's just rare, and it's special because it's hard or rare to happen.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's like it just happened with no reason or cause or whatever, you know. So I don't know if that's the direction he's going. I don't know. I need
No.
more information, I guess.
I have another question from the audience. I'm going to put it on screen because it's a long one, but
Sure.
forget religions for a second. I know you're an atheist, but don't you think it's rational for humans to have a creator who created us? In other words, a necessary existence from humans to the planets.
Okay. So a creator note, like still, people would label that as still a god, but like if tried not to say God, just a creator, uh, it still has to be demonstrated that this creator even exists in the first place. Uh, and it's like, I guess it's kind of like I would assume that they're leaning towards the concept of the watchmaker argument, you know, and it's like we've seen what like we've observed and can watch someone make a watch or a building or whatever you want to use as your example, but uh, not to say that there's not a creator again, like that's still Gnostic, but agnostic, not knowing that there is one, right? Like there's like we still haven't observed a universe creating creator, right? There's
Right.
we haven't witnessed that. So but that still, because we haven't witnessed it, doesn't necessarily mean there isn't one.
Correct.
But to be convinced of one, you would have to demonstrate the one that the creator even exists. And so just because there's evidence of things that exist doesn't necessarily give credence or warrant that there is a creator. It just proves that there's existence, you
Right.
know.
So from your perspective, what is the purpose of us doing atheist activism? Like, why are you on this show? Why should shows like this exist?
Um, I think this show, it's, I would say that it's for necessarily the listeners, and have them decide for themselves of if there's like, say, call in a show with a debate or whatever, it's mainly for the listeners. It's not for who's to win and lose or whatnot. But if it's just a civil, but like agreement show that's not against each other kind of thing, a debate kind of thing. Um, it's just, I think it can be for atheists just to come together and have something that they can relate to. If it's Christians themselves, they can have a perspective of what an atheist thinks,
Mhm.
absent of a Christian or whatever. I mean, it can have multiple reasons, but like it's still healthy or helpful in many different ways, you know. So,
What do you think we as the atheist community can do to be more effective in our approach?
um, it's kind of hard to say. I do know that there is organizations that are trying to make more awareness and have more uh, atheist things and whatnot. Um, but I do take the idea of like seeing if we want to grow as a community and an organization, what have you, is I told somebody, I go, uh, just because we don't believe in the Christians doesn't mean we can't do the methods that they have. Like we can have events, we can have
Absolutely.
all this other stuff. We just need to make them, or whatever it is that makes the like to have a community and make more communities. Uh, just it those things aren't coined or trademark or whatever you want to call it, aren't owned just by theists alone. We can use those same methods, you know, so we can borrow or use those ideas, you know, to grow, you know.
I agree. I think one of the things the atheist community is lacking is unity,
Mhm,
and community.
mhm,
Um, we could do so much more if we just worked together and created more institutions and community building. Christians have it down pat. They've
mhm.
got their community down, they've got their churches. We don't. And
Yeah,
I
and they've
think
had years to build on that.
oh, yeah, exactly. They've
Yeah.
got what, 2,000 years?
Yeah. And how
Uh,
long ago was it safe to be an atheist? So like since
Not
then?
very long ago.
Yeah, since then. So this is very like a very infancy thing, you know, very start kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. I totally agree. I have a close atheist friend who he's been hounding me to create an atheist organization dedicated to providing funds for atheists in need, and also building the community. But it's a lot of work. Like even hosting podcasts is a lot of work. Like the perspective is one of the hardest shows I've ever done, and it took so much effort and so much work.
Yeah,
So it's not an easy road,
it's
but
not.
no, it would be cool if we had more of that. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, we got past all the atheist stuff. Now on to the fun stuff. What
Okay.
kind of music you into, man?
Man, I pretty much like everything, or a lot. I don't really skip. I mean, I don't just stick to one genre or whatever. Uh, but anything that sounds good, I like, which doesn't really help much. But I tell people my not playlist, but whatever, my I guess you could call it a playlist, but my Spotify that I have and just on shuffle just sounds like random shit that like it doesn't like it's just random genres of music. It could be rap one song, country one song, techno one song, and then whatever. It's just random
Okay.
everywhere, you know. So it's whatever I feel at that moment. I just like I'll stick on it, but like that song, and then like if another song comes on that is totally different, and like oh I'm feeling that right now, and then I'll keep that song, you know. So
So, because of your wife, I have to jump back to the atheism stuff.
oh,
Uh,
I love that.
Caitlin said, ask him about the rap that was his last prayer.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, uh, it's called it's by Hobson, and it's called Ill Mind 7. And dude, it's one of my favorite songs. I'll never get tired of listening to it. But I know that you can't play it right now, so I go over it, I guess. And it's just him in the desert, right? And he's praying to God, and he's basically just talking about how he sees like how he's falling out of religion, and how he's starting not to believe anymore, and all like how he sees religion, how he sees his life, how he sees God and everything, and he's just basically mad at God or whatever of how he's seeing everything. It's just you know and so he at the end of it all, he's basically like, just let me be, you do you kind of thing, let me be me, I'll just do what I want kind of deal. But like, dude, you should listen to it. Uh that that's that is what I tell people my last prayer to God. But there is a similar song or rap that's next to it, that I would compare it to, and it's by Dak saying called something God. I forgot what it's called at the moment, but he basically does the same thing i- in similar ways, but it's from him still being a Christian but still questioning it, you know. So,
Okay. I got
oh, it's called
another.
Dear God
Uh,
from
you brought
Dax.
you brought out all the Christians and theists tonight. The comment
Cool.
section is just flooded with them. So, I got another one
Mhm.
from Abraham. What do you think about cumulative arguments for the existence of gods?
Um, like collectively, all the arguments. I'm
I
guessing that's
believe that's what he's saying.
cumulative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because another person in the comment section said, which I agree with, would you accept cumulative arguments for Bigfoot?
yeah. Right. I don't think the amount of arguments mean anything. But how I feel about them, like I like talking about those arguments just for a thought experiment and to have that discussion with people, you know. Speaking of that, when I say discussion and whatnot, and rather not debate, which is essentially what I do to Christians or people that I talk to, I know that the word debate has a very bad deconnotation and people
Oh,
don't
it
like that
does.
word. And
Totally.
so I try to work around it and soften it and have people agree with having that debate by rephrasing it. And this is how I start the conversation with Christians normally, uh, especially if they know I'm atheist or like still uh, pretending to be Christian, but mainly atheist, is that I go, because they'll be like, you just want to debate. And yes, I have to debate already by saying, no, I don't want to debate or argue that I don't want to debate. But to get to my point with them, though, is like, I go, no, I don't want to debate, but I want to have a conversation that of exchange of opinions, thoughts, and ideas. And I think we can do that. And then they'll go, yeah, I think we can do that. I go, so I have so at that point, I have their consent to have this conversation and exchange of thoughts and opinions and ideas. And so it surpasses that deconnotation. It removes that. And so we can actually have a conversation.
That's a really good approach. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the approach I try to take. I
Mm-hmm.
don't always hammer it down in that way. Um, my family can get under my skin a little bit with
Likewise.
how far right they are. So it gets a little frustrating at times.
Right, right.
But overall, I'm usually pretty good at staying calm. It
Yeah.
also drives my girlfriend nuts because albeit like we'll be at a swingers party and next thing she knows, she walks up to me and I'm talking about the existence of God with a group of people. And she's like, can you stop talking about religion? And I'm like, I can't, I'm sorry. Plus, the people were interested. They wanted to talk about it. So, what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to tell them no.
Right. And the funny thing is sometimes I don't even bring it up and someone else does, and someone else that isn't in the conversation thinks that I started the conversation. I was like, no, I never, this time I didn't bring it up. Okay. That's not my fault. And like, so don't blame me. Like, you know, but it doesn't even matter because they know who I am and like what I'm about. So it's like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just if I'm talking about it, they don't like it. So,
Yeah, I get that.
mhm.
So, before we wrap up, it's movie time. Uh,
Oh,
what are some of your favorite movies? Which one? Which one's your
all of
favorite of the
them.
three?
You have
You
no
have to
idea.
pick one.
Oh man, it's so difficult, man, because they're all basically good, like equally good. And but I
Two's the
would
weakest.
the weak that like there is no weakest. What are you talking about?
No, it's the weakest.
No, there is no weakest.
Yes, there
You could
is, dude.
no
Two. Two
uh
is the weakest.
no two was like okay. I'll grant the weakest. And how I say this is that like okay, the part one, and then there's like part two, and it's just like right there. It's like one hair below it, and I'll be like,
No,
okay, it's
no.
uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So here's three. Here's one. Okay. Here's one. Here's one. And here's two. It's a good deal
Oh,
down from one
yeah.
and three.
Oh man, no, because like Firefish is entire part two, and the whole thing of like time travel and shit. So like, it's really hard not to say that's the weakest one. So, like, it was so good. Like, and the callbacks from the like references to part one, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like you it's to compare it or to like use an analogy because we're also atheist. It's just like you can't have a New Testament without the Old Testament. You can't have part two without part one. Like what? No, it needs part one. Like and such that way that it makes it weaker is because it needs part one. Okay, but it like it's still pretty on par. Like, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
I love it. I still to this day, probably once every 2 to 3 months rewatch it. Same with part 1 and part 3. Like they're all great films.
Yes.
I just think the second one trails a little bit.
Yeah.
But outside the Deadpool universe,
Sure.
just give me a couple of your favorites before we head out.
Yeah. So, like my go-to is Back to the Future.
Oh, dude, really?
Yes.
Me too.
I never get tired of Back to the Future.
No,
all three of them.
Never.
Yeah. No, I can watch it on a loop. It doesn't bore me.
Dude, same. I love the trilogy. I can watch it over whenever I'm sick and I'm stuck in front of my iPad. All I do is watch the Back to the Future trilogy on fucking repeat.
Right. So that I have I like sci-fi type things and time travel and whatnot. So like Tenet, because I'm also looking at all my DVDs that I have like collected. I can't necessarily read them, but like I can visualize them or whatever. So like my go-tos again is like Minority Report.
Oh, that's a good one. It's not like a great film, but it's a good one.
Minority Report. What I say next to it is Total Recall.
Wait, which one?
I like the first one better.
Okay,
like it's not a part 2
of
the old one. Yeah, the original one. And speaking of Total Recall, a lot of people don't know this unless like they paid attention. I don't know, but I was paying attention. Is that I watched for the old one and then I watched the newest one right back to back, right? And spoiler alerts, and it shouldn't be a spoiler alert. You should have watched it by now. But there, when in Total Recall, he dresses up like a woman or whatever to get past the TSA, whatever, like security, whatever, blah blah blah. He's trying to get past cops, like I said, whatever. He disguises himself as a woman, right? And then eventually he gets spotted out, and they find out that he's being in disguise, right? The newest one, like I say, the director or whoever makes you think that because if you watch the original, you would think that the woman that they're putting up in the newest one, you think he's in disguise as the woman, and then you find out that woman isn't him in disguise. It's really her as a woman, and then he's like behind the woman and whatnot, and then he gets caught or whatever. And so I'm like, oh. So when I watch it, the second or the reboot one, I was like, oh, he's in disguise as that woman, and then like he's not even that woman. I was like, fuck you, you tricked me. You got me, man. Fuck this. So it's like the director playing on the people if they were trying to recall hint, like I think that's what they're trying to play on, right? So like recall that moment. So but yeah, so I like all sorts of movies. Like I said, Tenet, I Get Out, the movie Old, that's a good one. Oh, The Matrix, let alone the Matrix Resurrections. Now, I get excited about this.
No.
I get excited about
this. That's a good movie.
No. You hear me out. I know you don't have to agree with me, but you'll understand why. Okay. I know people don't like it, and I like. This is the reason why I like it, because I know that people don't like it, and and the movie knows that the people don't like it, which is part of the meta thing. The movie itself is mad at itself for being bad, and they tell you it's they don't like it themselves in the movie. Like the French guy, the Russian guy, I forgot who he is, but he was all jungled out, like he went to like what's it called, Jumanji and shit, or a Castaway. He comes out and he's mad at the movie for doing all this, and he's like, "You're ruining it. You're fucking it up." Right?
Yes.
So dude,
I spotted that too.
They know that you're not going to like it, and they know they don't like it, and they're telling you they don't like it, and this is why you should like the movie even more, is because they don't even like it. And then what?
They also made a comment about, I forgot which studio, but they made a
Yes,
comment
that
about,
was
well,
my
the
second go-to.
studio made us make
Warner
this.
Brothers. Yes, they drop named it, and they're like, we don't even want to make this movie, but we're forced to, because if we don't do it, someone else will, and so we have to do it. And so again, they're telling you they don't want to make this movie, and you don't like this movie, neither do they. But they're gonna ruin it even more, so we're gonna ruin it in our own way, and that's what I like about this movie. So
Well,
it is so much meta, so much layers of meta, that I like it.
Well,
So
you know they are making another one now, right?
I've heard.
Yes, without the Wachowskis.
Yeah, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I think we're just gonna have to see when we, because I don't care. Even if it is bad, I'm suckered into it. You could call me a sheep or whatever, like a money grab or whatever, because I like this so much. I have to see it. Like, I have to see how bad it gets or whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna have to. I have to force myself because I have no control over not watching it. So I have to.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Wade or Sacrificial Lamb, where can people check you out at? Do you have any social media?
I do have a TikTok. I don't make much content on there, normally, or basically because I don't have much time. I'm always doing something else. But when I do have time or in between things, I am in the comment sections a lot and talking to people and having debates in the comment sections. People call that a troll. I'm not necessarily trolling, just trying to have a conversation with those people. But every once in a while, I'll make a post or something, and a thing that I have thought about that day or something, and try to make something, So, but yeah, I try to join lives and talk in the conversation in the chats too. So like, I'm mainly in the chats, but yeah. You'll see me there. A lot of people recognize me in the chats or whatever. So yeah, that they might not know me like formally as far as like one-on-one, but they'll recognize me and say hi or whatever.
Right.
But I'll also chat with them in like in an inbox or whatever, stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. It was great finally meeting you on camera. Stay on the line as I play the outro video, and we'll chat after the show. Thank you to all my patrons. I appreciate your support, and thank you to everyone who watched. And I hope everyone has a good night.